Welcome back to ABC General Hospital. Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the 3 explosive ways Willow Tate's courtroom saga could shatter expectations and flip the script in dramatic fashion. In the high-stakes world of Port Charles, Willow Tate's legal battle is teetering on the edge of catastrophe, with spoilers hinting at twists that could redefine alliances and unear buried secrets. Fresh out on bail after a tense negotiation, Willow is savoring fleeting moments of freedom. But the shadow of a lengthy sentence at the infamous Penville Penitentiary looms large. A place she's already tasted and vowed never to revisit. Her devoted attorney, Alexis Davis, fresh off striking a pivotal deal with Drew Kane, is pulling out all the stops to weave a defense that could dismantle the prosecution's case brick by brick. As witnesses take the stand, and evidence mounts, this trial isn't just a procedural affair. It's a powder keg, prime for emotional eruptions, family fractures, and revelations that ripple through the entire community. Viewers are bracing for heart-pounding confrontations where loyalties clash and hidden motives surface, turning the sterile courtroom into a battlefield of raw human drama. With so much at stake for Willow's future and the lives intertwined with hers, the proceedings promise to deliver pulse-racing suspense that keeps fans glued to their screens, dissecting every glance and testimony for clues to the unfolding chaos. First twist, Portia's hidden night and paternity shocker, diving into the first potential bombshell. The trial could ignite a firestorm by dragging Portia Robinson into the spotlight, forcing her to confront the tangled web of lies she spun about that fateful night. In a bold, strategic pivot, Alexis might redirect the jury's scrutiny toward alternative suspects, positioning Portia as a key figure whose alibi doesn't quite add up under the harsh glare of cross-examination. Felicia Scorpio, ever the sharp-eyed investigator with her nursing background and street smarts, has long suspected Portia's story is riddled with fabrications, and her testimony could crack the facade wide open. Picture the tension building as Portia sweats on the stand, her composure fraying while Alexis probes deeper, painting a picture of deception that ties directly to the shooting of Drew Kane. Under this mounting pressure, Portia might finally break, admitting in a tear-streaked confession that she spent the evening entangled in a passionate illicit rendezvous with the enigmatic Isaiah Gainen, a man whose shadowy connections add layers of intrigue to the narrative. This bombshell wouldn't just exonerate Willow by muddying the timeline. It would send shockwaves through Portia's marriage, as Curtis Ashford grapples with the gut-wrenching possibility that the child she's carrying isn't his. Curtis, already navigating his own recovery from recent traumas, could spiral into doubt, questioning every intimate moment and vowing to demand a paternity test that exposes the fragility of their bond. For Portia, this revelation means more than legal fallout. It's a personal unraveling where her choices clash with her role as a doctor sworn to heal, forcing her to rebuild trust in a town that thrives on gossip. Analysts of the show might see this as a classic GH trope, amplifying themes of infidelity and identity, much like past arcs where hidden affairs reshaped family trees and sparked multi-EP episode vendettas. Willow, watching from the defendant's table could find unexpected solidarity with Portia in their shared vulnerability, hinting at future alliances amid the rubble of exposed truths. Second twist. Justinda's lies crumble Michael's defense. Shifting gears to the second seismic shift. Michael Corinthos' carefully constructed alibi could implode spectacularly, courtesy of Justinda Bracken's web of deceit unraveling in real time. Harrison Chase, the detective with an unyielding sense of justice honed from years on the force, has been quietly piecing together inconsistencies in Justinda's account, suspecting she was moonlighting with another high-profile client on the night Drew was gunned down. By trial day, Chase might arrive armed with irrefutable proof, perhaps surveillance footage from a discreet hotel or witness statements from overlooked associates, demonstrating that Justinda's testimony was a meticulously fabricated shield for Michael. This wouldn't be mere coincidence. It paints Justinda as a cunning operative, possibly motivated by financial incentives or deeper loyalties, who aligned with Michael to fabricate an ironclad presence elsewhere during the crime. Delving deeper, spoilers suggest Jinda's true companion that evening was none other than Ezra Bull, a figure from Port Charles' underbelly, whose involvement adds a gritty Noir-like edge to the proceedings, evoking the show's history of mob-adjacent intrigue. Chase, leveraging this bombshell, could grill Michael with precision, highlighting how the Alib collapse not only taints his credibility, but injects reasonable doubt into Willow's charges. As the jury perceives Michael's desperation to protect his wife blinded him to ethical lines. For Michael, this exposure risks more than courtroom defeat. It could strain his empire-building ambitions. Eddie Elk, drawing scrutiny from board members wary of scandal, and fracture his relationship with family patriarch Sonny, who despises disloyalty above all. Willow, caught in the crossfire, might wrestle with guilt over dragging Michael into this mess, pondering if their love is worth the collateral damage to his reputation. This twist masterfully dissects themes of loyalty and deception, mirroring iconic GH moments where alibis crumbled to reveal ulterior motives, ultimately humanizing characters as they navigate the fallout of their own inventions. Third twist. Chase's overreach backfires spectacularly, rounding out the trio of potential upheavals. Harrison Chase's zeal could boomerang into a full-blown scandal, exposing his oversteps and tilting the scales against Willow in unforeseen ways. As the lead investigator, Chase is net deep in personal stakes. His budding feelings for Willow and disdain for Michael have blurred professional boundaries, leading him to bend rules in pursuit of vindication. Ada Justine Turner, a no-nonsense prosecutor with a reputation for dismantling biased cops, might seize on this during her closing arguments, portraying Chase as a rogue element hell-bent on railroading Michael to salvage Willow's freedom, complete with leaked emails or unauthorized surveillance logs as evidence. This isn't abstract misconduct. Imagine Chase's late-night stakeouts turning into aggressive interrogations without warrants, or his selective sharing of evidence that favors one narrative. All while his partner Dante grows increasingly uneasy about the ethical tightrope the courtroom could erupt as Turner calls Chase to account, forcing him to defend actions that smack a vendetta rather than justice, potentially leading to his suspension, and a mistrial declaration that prolongs Willow's agony. For Chase, the personal toll is immense. His career already shadowed by past family dramas hangs by a thread, and reconciling with Willow becomes a distant dream amid the professional wreckage. Willow herself might view this as a double-edged sword. Grateful for his intentions, yet horrified by the chaos it unleashes, prompting her to question if blind passion ever yields true justice in port Charles. This arc delves into the show's enduring exploration of moral ambiguity in law enforcement, akin to past storylines where detectives' flaws humanize them, sparking debates on accountability and redemption that keep audiences theorizing long after the credits roll. As these threads intertwine, the trial emerges not just as Willow's fight, but a mirror to the town's fractured soul, where every revelation peels back another layer of intrigue. Next, we will learn about the thrilling twists and dramatic confrontations unfolding in Port Charles over the next 2 weeks. As the story lines intensify from November to viewers are in for a roller coaster of revelations, accusations, and emotional showdowns that could reshape alliances and expose long-buried secrets among the town's most prominent families. Let's dive deeper into these captivating developments, starting with the immediate buzz from November to where personal vendettas and urgent investigations collide in unexpected ways. In the midst of rising tensions, Britt Westman finds herself locked in a heated face-off with Emma Scorpio Drake, a clash that promises to unear layers of unresolved resentment from their shared history. Picture the scene: Emma attempting to slip away from an uncomfortable encounter at the hospital. Carter's is abruptly pulled back by Britt's firm grip, her eyes flashing with determination as she demands they hash out their differences right then and there. This isn't just a minor spat. Britt, ever the resilient survivor, refuses to let Emma evade the truth about past betrayals, potentially forcing Emma to confront her own role in the web of lies that has entangled their lives. Analysts speculate this confrontation could ripple outward, drawing in other Scorpio family members and complicating Emma's professional life as a doctor, where trust is paramount. Meanwhile, as these two strong-willed women square off, the stakes feel personal and raw, hinting at deeper emotional scars that might finally begin to heal or fester even more. Shifting gears to a confession that's bound to stir the pot, Giovanni Joe Palmy decides to unburden his conscience, but he chooses an unlikely confidant in Brooklyn Quarter, Maine, steering clear of the authorities to avoid immediate repercussions. Imagine Joe, his face etched with guilt under the dim lights of a cozy Quarter Maine estate, gathering, whispering details of his involvement in a shadowy scheme that ties back to recent corporate intrigues. Edlyn, known for her sharp instincts and loyalty to her circle, listens intently, her expression shifting from surprise to concern as she processes the implications. This revelation could prompt BLQ to seek counsel from her inner circle, including Dante Falconeri and her detective husband, Harrison Chase, whose investigative skills might be pulled into the fray. Dandy's fury would be palpable, especially since his Primary focus remains on exonerating his son, Rocco Falconieri, from a wrongful accusation that's hanging over the family like a dark cloud. Any distraction from this could ignite explosive arguments within the Falconieri household, testing bonds that have weathered many storms before, adding fuel to the political fire. Laura Collins steps boldly into the spotlight, publicly branding Professor Henry Hank Dalton as a deceitful manipulator during a press conference swarming with reporters. A move that risks tarnishing her reputation as mayor, but underscores her unwavering commitment to protecting her loved ones. Visualizing the moment, Laura stands tall at the podium, her voice steady yet laced with righteous. To Alexis Davis, the sharp legal mind, who represents Willow, sharing findings in a tense meeting that could pivot the entire narrative toward justice. Alex X is poring over the details with her trademark analytical precision. Immediately strategizes next steps, possibly filing motions that challenge the status quo and draw in more players from the legal and medical worlds, emphasizing themes of resilience and systemic flaws in Port Charles institutions. Looking ahead to the broader 2-week arc, Tracy Quartermaine cuts short her luxurious sojourn in France, perhaps amid a high-stakes art auction or vineyard retreat, to rush back to Port Charles upon hearing of Ned Quartermaine's dire condition. Her arrival injecting urgency and her signature no-nonsense attitude into the family crisis. Tracy, stepping off the plane with designer luggage in tow, storms into General Hospital demanding answers from doctors and family alike about the incident that left Ned comatose. When Ned finally stirs to consciousness, his first words accuse Drew Kane of abandoning him after a brutal altercation near the Metro Court docks, painting a vivid picture of betrayal that shatters the fragile peace between the Quartermaine brothers. This accusation unleashes a torrent of family drama, with Tracy leading the charge to confront Drew, whose military background and recent business ventures might offer alibis or counter-claims, deepening the riff and exploring themes of forgiveness versus retribution in the quarter. Legacy. Romantic undercurrents simmer as Britt Westman edges closer to Jason Morgan, their shared interrogations evolving into stolen moments of vulnerability that hint at rekindled sparks amid the danger. Britt softening her guarded exterior during late night talks shares fears about her future in Port Charles, while Jason's protective instincts draw him nearer, complicating his loyalties to the mob world. Yet, overshadowing this potential reunion is the precarious fate of Rocco Falconieri, now thrust into a high-profile trial for a crime he didn't commit. With mounting evidence challenges and emotional testimonies from his family threatening to sway the jury, Rocco's ordeal could culminate in dramatic courtroom scenes where Danny's impassioned defense clashes with prosecutors, underscoring the human cost of Port Charles' endless intrigues. As Thanksgiving approaches, the holiday brings a mix of heartwarming gatherings and simmering conflicts, with families converging at the Quartermaine mansion and Corinthos penthouse for turkey dinners laced with nostalgia and revelations. Picture tables laden with traditional feasts, roast turkey, cranberry relish, and pumpkin pie, where toasts to gratitude mask underlying tensions like Sonny's, where glances at Michael's girlfriend or Laura's subtle strategizing amid political fallout. These scenes promise poignant flashbacks to happier times, evoking memories of lost loved ones like Stone Cold's or the Spencer's glory days. But drama lurks. A heated argument over Ned's accusation could erupt, or Joe's confession might leak, turning the holiday into a powder keg. Fans should brace for emotional highs and lows as Port Charles reminds us that even in celebration, secrets have a way of surfacing, binding the community in unpredictable ways. Stay tuned for these unmissable episodes that blend suspense, romance, and family bonds into the soap's timeless allure. Anger as cameras flash and questions fly, declaring Dalton's fabrications about a recent scandal that implicated her family in unethical dealings. This bold stance might jeopardize her re-election bid, with opponents quick to paint her as impulsive. Yet, it aligns perfectly with Laura's character. Family always trumps ambition in her world, a trait that's defined her tenure. Behind the scenes, complications mount as Marco Rios delivers a damning report to the enigmatic Sidwell, who lurks as a puppet master in Port Charles' underworld. Sidwell, sensing Dalton as a loose end, might orchestrate his elimination through subtle sabotage or a staged accident. Even more sinister, whispers suggest Laura herself could be set up as the fall guy, her political career crumbling under fabricated evidence that ties her to Dalton's misdeeds, forcing her to navigate a labyrinth of legal battles and media scrutiny while rallying allies like her husband Kevin Collins for support. As investigations deepen, Britt Westman faces intense scrutiny from Jason Morgan, whose probing questions in a secluded corner of the floating rib could peel back layers of her enigmatic past, revealing connections to the very crimes rocking the town. Jason, with his trademark intensity and unyielding pursuit of truth, corners Britt after overhearing fragments of her conversation, demanding clarity on her whereabouts during a pivotal night that links to the Dalton affair. This interrogation isn't merely procedural. It delves into Britt's vulnerabilities, perhaps touching on her lingering feelings for Jason and how they complicate her loyalty to other factions in Port Charles. In a parallel thread, Lulu Spencer, grappling with her own uncertainties, reaches out to Carly Corinthos for guidance on a personal dilemma involving her journalism pursuits, confiding over coffee about ethical crossroads that mirror the larger chaos. Not long after, Jack Brennan pulls Carly aside for his own line of questioning, his sly demeanor hinting at ulterior motives tied to international intrigue, possibly probing her ties to the Corinthos Empire and how they intersect with recent smuggling rumors. Family introductions take center stage when Michael Corinthos proudly brings his new flame, Justinda Breckel, into the fold by introducing her to his father, Sonny Corinthos. A moment ripe with potential for explosive reactions. Given Sonny's protective nature and history of vetting Michael's choices, envision the awkward yet charged dinner at the Corinthos mansion. Justinda, a poised businesswoman with a mysterious background in tech startups, extends a hand to Sonny, who sizes her up with a piercing gaze, his mind racing through security checks and gut instincts about whether she poses a threat to the family dynasty. Sonny's response could range from cautious approval to outright suspicion, especially if Justinda's past brushes with corporate espionage. surface, adding a layer of tension that Michael must navigate to prove his judgment. This encounter not only tests father-son dynamics, but also highlights Michael's growth as he balances romance with the weight of his quarter and those heritage, potentially leading to heartfelt conversations about trust and legacy. On the investigative front, Harrison Chase throws himself into probing leads to aid Willow Tate, whose health struggles and quest for closure on a medical mystery demand swift action from the dedicated detective. Chase, methodically sifting through hospital records and witness statements in his precinct office, uncovers subtle clues pointing to foul play in Willow's case, perhaps involving tampered medications or hidden agendas from a rival doctor. By midweek, he delivers a crucial update.